All right, what's up, guys? Sanj here. Hope you guys are having a good day. Welcome back to another episode of Bodybuilding News Today. And in today's episode, we're going to be doing a part 1 of 3 of my Olympia predictions, the top 7 Mr. Olympia predictions for the 2020 Mr. Olympia. So if you're interested in the part 1, make sure you stay tuned. And if you are a returning viewer, I'd love for you guys to subscribe and join the army here, join the fan base. We just hit over 500, and I'd love for you guys to be part of that. So if you guys are a returning viewer, definitely consider subscribing. So in this part 1, I want to put together Big Ramy versus Dexter Jackson versus Roelly Winklaar. Now, these 3 competitors are probably favorited to be at the bottom of the first call out. So let's go ahead and start off with the front double bicep. And before we even get into it, I know you're going to be thinking, okay, wait a second. So you're using the 2020 Arnold Classic photos where Dexter Jackson beat Big Ramy. Respectively, Dexter Jackson got second and Big Ramy got third. So wouldn't you have it scored pretty clean that Dexter would be beating out Big Ramy in every shot? And that's where I'm going to be surprising you guys. In this front double bicep, I have it scored Ramy, Roelly, Dexter. And now hear me out. I'm not trying to take a crap on Dexter here. I think Dexter has a great physique, but I'm not really sure what the judges were seeing at the Arnold Classic. I think that Big Ramy, even though most judges are going to be judging Big Ramy based on what he can be, not what he currently is, in my opinion, I still think, regardless, that Big Ramy brought a better, cleaner, sharper package than Dexter Jackson. Even though Dexter Jackson is known for being the blade, I do think, just looking at these photos and the comparisons, I think that specifically in the front double bicep, Big Ramy is going to take away a #1 place here for the front double against these 2 competitors. Now, you also might be wondering, okay, so Roelly versus Dexter for the front double. Like, how do I see that? Why do I have Roelly in front of Dexter? And to be honest, there's a couple things I want to point out. So I want to look at the arms and the forearms. I think that Roelly has probably some of the best arms in the IFBB in the world for competitive bodybuilders. And he also look at the midsection and also look at the legs. I think just a combination of those 3 parts is really what's going to be beating out Dexter Jackson here. The conditioning, the vascularity in the arms, also respectfully in the legs, the conditioning, the separation, and the muscularity in the legs is going to beat out Dexter Jackson. And the midsection. I am not a fan of Dexter Jackson's midsection. I've said it many times. I don't hate the guy. I just don't like the turtle shell look. It's not my favorite. And even though Roelly Winklaar has been criticized in years past for having a blown out midsection, I do think that he's done what it's needed to take to make those improvements in his midsection to make it come in and look a lot nicer. I know on the most recent RX Muscle podcast or episode on the YouTube channel, he was talking about how he uses a trainer almost throughout the day religiously. So that is a big contributor to Roelly Winklaar's midsection coming down. So that's how I'm scoring this one, guys. Let's move into the front lat spread. Now, this one is a kind of interesting one because Roelly hits it a little bit unconventionally. He does the Luke Sandow flare of the foot, which I do like. I think that really does complement his physique and the conditioning that he has in the legs. You know, if you got it, show it. But respectfully, I do judge this Ramy, Roelly, Dexter. You can find a theme here. Now, Ramy, size, conditioning for the most part, and just pure mass. Also with a controlled midsection. Although, respectfully, it could look better. He could be sharper. There could be deeper separations in the midsection and also in the chest. You could have a little bit more striations like Dexter and Roelly. Specifically, Roelly. Roelly has a lot of striations in that upper chest. Or the lower chest, and it does look very nice. But just overall, I think that Big Ramy in this shot does look more pleasing, more aesthetic, wider, and better conditioning than the other 2 competitors. Now, looking at Dexter versus Roelly for the front lat spread, I think that Roelly has better conditioning. I think that he has better separations and lines in the musculature. Overall size and density, Dexter's really at the end of his career, respectfully. And when you look at Roelly, you really can. It's really going to be a hard sell to put Dexter in front of Roelly. And if it does happen, and the conditioning looks similar to what we're seeing right here, that is a big politics flag. So not a fan there. But if it happens, it happens. We'll see once we get closer to the Mr. Olympia, 3 weeks out now. But that's how I score this front lat spread here. Side chest, again, I'm scoring it Ramy, Roelly, Dexter. Like I said, there is a theme. I went through all these a few times, tried to point out, where can there be discrepancies? Where can I give Dexter 1 over Roelly? Or where can I give Roelly 1 over Dexter? And I thought that it was going to be this shot. In this side chest, I was looking at the legs, and I thought that, okay, Dexter's legs look better than Roelly's leg. But when you look above the hands, the chest, it's no competition. There's no argument. Roelly has a huge chest, very wide shoulder frame compared to Dexter, respectfully. Better conditioning, better vascularity, better muscle bellies. I think Dexter has a better smile, but that's not what we're judging here. So if anything, this would have been potentially a shot where Dexter could have beaten Roelly with the lower leg department. But like I said, when you look at the upper body, it's just, it's lights out. So I have this one, Ramy, Roelly, Dexter. Back double bicep, another great shot, and for the most part, this is one of Dexter's known shots. He's very sharp from the back, very deep cuts, separations, very nice muscle bellies formed together in a way that's very pleasing for the judges and the audience. But then you look at these mass monsters to the left and the right. I have this one scored Ramy, Roelly, Dexter. And again, you look at Ramy, you look at the upper body, just pure mass and size, the deep cuts and separations, conditioning somewhat lacking, but still very impressive. The midsection or the lower back looking very nice and tight, very big, large, striated glutes, and massive centaur-looking legs, and even the calves are spiked as well. You look over at Roelly, another mass monster, huge back, huge upper traps, but the lighting kind of makes it look like he's almost a little shallow in the lower back. If you look at the lighting compared to Big Ramy to Roelly, you can tell that there is a little bit of a discrepancy. The lighting is a little different, especially against these black backdrops. It is sometimes difficult to point out what we're really looking at, what we want to see. And respectfully, Roelly's glutes and legs are somewhat soft and shallow. I think there's better ways for him to hit this shot, maybe something that doesn't make him look so spread out, so X-taper, similar to how Dexter and Ramy are holding it. So I think that there's definitely some room for improvement there. If Roelly does not want to get knocked out of this top 6, I definitely think that he needs to be working on his posing as we creep towards closer and closer to this Mr. Olympia. And finally, the back lat spread. I'm going to leave the side obliques and the hands overhead abdominals and the side tri. We covered the side chest, and I feel like the side tri is a very similar shot. Back lat spread, this would be a big shot for someone to come in and creep in on Big Ramy here. Now, if you guys do not know, Chris Aceto has been very vocal about Big Ramy not being able to open up his lat spread. If you don't know, Chris Aceto was one of Big Ramy's coaches in the past, and as of late, everyone has noticed that Big Ramy's been having issues opening up his lat spread and really opening it up. If you look at Dexter and Roelly, you can see how they roll it forward, they roll their shoulders forward, really popping out the lower part of the traps and even the upper traps as well. And you look at Big Ramy, he's just not doing it. It looks like he's standing there. It looks like he's maybe doing a front lat for a back lat, and that's just not going to work. It's you're hitting the shot differently. It doesn't look as aesthetic. It doesn't look as wide. So I had the idea that I could probably put Big Ramy in second here for the back lat, But then you look at the leg department, and that's half the shot right there is the legs. And no one on this stage from these two other competitors competes anywhere near the leg development, the leg mass. I know that Dave Palumbo told Roelly Winklaar in the most recent episode where they had that interview talking about improving the midsection that Roelly is just as big as Ramy. And I think in some shots in the front and double, it's debatable, chest and up. But when you start looking at the rest of the body, it's really where you start separating the apples and the oranges. So, like I said, there definitely could be some discrepancy for the back lat spread, but I still have this one scored Ramy, Roelly, Dexter. So I'd love to hear what you guys have. I'd love to hear the comments and your thoughts in the comment sections below. I know that this is a very divided and gripping conversation, thinking about, this being Dexter's last Mr. Olympia. Ramy not even qualifying for this show, getting what some would say a handout here, getting onto this Mr. Olympia stage, this stage of them all, without qualifying, getting that special invitation. And a lot of people are talking about Roelly Winklaar. He's been competing for a long time now, and he really hasn't brought what it takes to win the Mr. Olympia. And now we're at the point where we're talking about him possibly getting knocked out of the first call-out. That's a big conversation piece. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about these three competitors. Do you think I'm doing them dirty? Do you think I'm doing them wrong? Do you think any of these guys deserve to be higher than talking about the 5th, 6th, and 7th place? What do you guys think? I'd love to hear in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Bodybuilding News today. If you enjoyed this episode, like the episode. And if you enjoy bodybuilding news in general, consider subscribing. It's free. It costs you no money to click a button, all right? So go ahead and subscribe. I'd love for you guys to join the club here. We just hit over 500 subscribers, 500 fans. We can fill a jumbo jet. It's pretty exciting. So if you guys enjoy bodybuilding news in general, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.